Every month, new products in the world of FPV are released, and the best way for you to keep up with them is to watch this video, the new product roundup. This is the new product roundup for September 2022, and I'm here with my partner, It's Blunty, to keep you guys up to date. How you doing, Blunty?
Good, Joshua. How's it going today?
Very, very good. Are you good? Are you really good, though, or are you just putting on a mask for the people?
Yeah, I'm as good as I can be, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we have some hot products this month. We've actually pared the list down a little this month to try to focus on like the top tier of hot products and not as many warm products. And we're going to be giving away one of them to some lucky winners at the end of the stream. But we're going to start out this month, Blunty, with probably the hottest. We actually delayed this recording so we could get this product update in this month. It is
the GoPro Hero 11.
Oh, the Hero 11 is here. Finally, the GoPro we've all been waiting for. Yes?
Yeah.
No?
Maybe. I don't know. It's got some interesting features. So I think it'll depend on who you are, especially for for this one. So, starting off, I guess it's got a bigger sensor. So they've increased the sensor size. I think it's 1/1.9. I think, is that right? Yeah, 1/1.9.
Yeah, that is correct.
And then it's an 8x7.
Yeah. So the 8x7 aspect ratio is nearly square sensor. Traditionally, GoPros have had a 4:3. This is even taller than that. And it didn't make sense to me at first, but then I saw some people giving demonstrations of how if you shoot with the square sensor, then you can crop down to widescreen. And if you're doing vertical video for the TikToks and all that nonsense, you can crop tall and you don't actually, it like looks good in both ways. And I thought I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool. It seems like they're able to do some extra stuff. This one's got hyper view. So it basically is just able to use that extra room on the sensor for better stabilization. Mm-hmm. And then it also has hyper smooth for that better onboard stabilization that it uses. So
Yep. Larger sensor gives you more latitude for stabilization. It can do horizon lock with full 360 degrees. So you can rotate the camera full 360 degrees with horizon lock. A version of super view with even more field of view than normal because it's got a larger sensor. The weight, pretty similar to the Hero 10. So if the Hero 10 is too heavy for you to put on your quadcopter, so is this one. Although I'd like to point out, a lot of people will remove the battery door and they'll take the battery out and they'll run it off USB, and that brings the weight down pretty substantially. 10-bit color. Finally, a GoPro with 10-bit color. You excited about that?
yeah, I mean, I'm not, but I think some people are.
Yeah, I thought that's what you would say. If you're big into color grading, 10-bit color is like what you want for color grading after the fact. If you just take your videos out of the camera, you slap them up on YouTube, then 10-bit color doesn't really make a difference for you. But that's going to be for pros especially, that's going to be a really, really big selling point. The big question, price, $549 retail. If you buy it with a new 1-year GoPro subscription, you get it for $400.
Or if you've already got that GoPro subscription, right? I think it comes for $400 as well. I think it's how it works.
Is that true?
I think that's the idea. Is like if you already have a subscription, you also get it for a discounted price. Maybe, yeah, I guess you have one, so you could check.
Yes, $399 if you have a subscription. That subscription gets you access to the GoPro protection plan, which gets you some replacements, and gets you access to their cloud services, which I don't really use, but maybe you would. So, of course, all the prices on the 10, the 9, the 8 are all going to come down in as much as they're available. The big question that I think we got to ask is, who is going to be buying this camera to put on their FPV drones? Because that's who our audience pretty much is FPV people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I get pretty much the same people who are using the 10, right? Which is like, I mean, it just depends on what your goals are and what your quad is, I guess.
My question would be, if you were buying a GoPro today for FPV, presumably the 10 is going to now be like $50 cheaper. And what would make you spend more money on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I think, like, to me, it's a bigger increase than something like a 9 to a 10, right? Because of the sensor difference, like there's actually feature changes, right? Versus like just like a sensor quality increase, like we've seen for a long time. We're actually seeing a difference in like some of the feature set.
And we also have
So,
to, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, so the other consideration there is that we do have another Hero 11 coming out.
That's
So
right.
it's not out yet as of recording this, but they've announced the date as October the 25th for the Hero 11 Black Mini. And so we're getting a smaller version of this camera for $100 less. And that will remove the screens and make it more of a square shape. Yeah, hopefully appealing to FPV pilots more. It seems like from reports it's going to be somewhere like 126 to 133 grams, somewhere in there. I didn't see an official number. But yeah, that definitely seems like, it's free weight loss. The downside to that is it does seem like they haven't put a battery door on and they've internalized the battery. So that means that basically, if you were buying a Hero 11 with the screens and you're removing the battery and using a power cable, right, it sort of seems like you're meeting a similar weight, though you don't have the screens and there's a different form factor, but it does feel a little strange. For a lot of pilots, this will be a no-brainer over the Hero 11 if you were going to buy the Hero 11 anyway.
Sure. If you're already going to get the Hero 11, though it is a small amount of weight saving, not as much as you would hope for. I feel like the big advantage is going to be the durability, though, because the screens always break, and once the screen breaks, well, some people are going to say, the screens on the 11 break. Maybe they don't break. Once they break, you've basically got a mini that you have to use your phone to frame shots and stuff. But while you got the screens, they're there.
Yeah, but you're paying $100 for that, so that's sort of the question.
That's
there.
True.
It's like,
that's true.
And $299 makes it a lot more reasonable to purchase multiples, right? You start saving money, and I feel like it's a more approachable price. So it'll be interesting. Like I would have expected this to be $349, or like we saw with the Bones, the same price as the Hero 11. And it's good to see that we didn't get that. So.
Yeah. Worth pointing out that the lens is removable on both of these. So like I think the 11 Black is potentially going to be super durable. There's no screens to break. GoPro does build a pretty durable camera that you can smash the hell out of and they keep working. Internal battery is but you buy 2 or 3 of them and just cycle them like we used to do with the Session, and you're going to be in good shape. By the way, speaking of which, there is in the works a Session 6, which is rumored to come in around 70, 75 grams. So if you're really looking for a lightweight, now we don't know what the capabilities will be. So, but that's, and we don't have a time frame on that. It's, someday.
Just to be clear, it's a different thing than the Mini.
Correct.
There's so many people who feel like that was a bad rumor, and it's definitely the Mini, and there's not another camera. There is definitely another camera in testing that is a smaller cube style
100%.
camera, and that should be a Session. So,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know that we a lot of times will leak rumors, and we're like, man, we don't know. I'm as confident as I can be about anything that isn't an official statement that the Session 6 does exist and is not the Hero 11 Black. So maybe worth waiting for that. We got another camera that came out the same day, the DJI Osmo Action 3. And I gotta say, I watched Potato Jet's review he did a head-to-head. And one of the things he did, Blunty, was he showed footage from both cameras without telling you which one it was. And then he showed it to his friends who were all cinematographers and stuff and recorded their reactions while showing you. And then at the end, he revealed which camera was which. It was amazing. He got all these different lighting conditions, and it was really cool to hear what they were noticing and compare to what I was noticing. Long story short, GoPro just wrecks the Action 3 for image quality in every scenario except low light, where the Action 3's larger sensor gives it more sensitivity, but also more image noise. And the only places I remember the Action 3 having the edge where it's a little bit cheaper, and it can go down to, I think, 16 meters instead of 10 meters for the Hero. So if you're going underwater, maybe you want it. But I think the Action 3 has really been eclipsed by the Hero 11 in pretty much every way I can think of.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's the case, but it does seem like this is another maybe like 3/4 baked DJI release,
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like, it doesn't even, what I'm hearing is eventually this will get an update and software that will allow it to have 10-bit color, but it doesn't release with it. You know, like this is basically another like product that wasn't quite done that they got out and that isn't quite up to the standards that we would expect.
Yeah.
Also at $329, you know, that's competing with everybody who has a GoPro subscription who can buy a mini for $299 in 30 days.
In a month, by the way. It's not available yet.
Yeah, in 30 days. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see like where all that comes in at, but I don't know very many people who are interested in the Action 3 comparatively, because you're paying $70 more for the Hero 11. I don't know. Where does the weight come in this? That's the one thing I haven't seen. 145. So yeah, you're not saving any weight really either. Yeah. Maybe 10 grams or something.
Yeah, the big, and by the way, I'll put a link to Potato Jet. Not that Potato Jet needs me to promote him. His video was so gosh darn good. It was a great review. Made me want to just quit being a YouTuber. He did such a good job. I'll put a link down in the video description. The big weakness of the DJI, as usual, compared to the GoPro, is the dynamic range. It has less detail in the highlights and the shadows compared to the GoPro. And the exposure algorithm is slower and hunts. So you notice it sort of going up and down, whereas the GoPro just seems to get the exposure right. And those two things are a pretty big deal. Though I did watch the comments of his video to see who was saying, I love the Action. And there were people who said they just had problems with buggy GoPro firmware and they'd just given up on GoPro. Also, it has a pretty cool magnetic clippy mount that makes it easy to mount, which some people are going to like. But yeah. So those are the big cameras coming out, and maybe I'll review the GoPro. I don't think I'm going to buy the Osmo, but if you want to buy any of the products that we're talking about in this video, there are links down in the video description. There are also time codes and chapter markers in the timeline if you want to jump around. But if you want to pick up any of these products, using those links down below helps support the channel and doesn't cost you anything. So definitely take advantage of that. I got one more product that I'm going to put up front in top products, and it's just as exciting as the new GoPro. It's a new power cable for your goggles, which I think everybody has been waiting for. Okay, it's a product I worked on with Newbeedrone. And the advantage of this I'm putting it up front because it's my product, and that's my prerogative as a YouTuber. The advantage of this Blunty is that unlike most power cables that give a fixed voltage to your goggles, like 9 volts, and then the battery runs down and your goggles shut off because they didn't give you a low voltage warning, this one takes whatever voltage you give it and scales it so that as the battery gets, the goggles look like they're getting a 2S battery, but then as the battery gets weaker, the voltage goes down, goes down, goes down. So the low voltage warning on your goggles works, and you can tell when it's about to die. A little clever little idea I had. Newbeedrone made it, and it is available now. So, would you use that product? Be honest.
I wouldn't like buy it separately, but I would probably I don't know. I would use it, but I don't know. I'm not going to say I would throw it on an order.
What goggles do you have?
DJI.
So they take 6S natively, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So
I have V1s. So.
Oh, okay. So if you have the V1s and they only take 4S, this would let you use 6S goggles.
I only fly
6S
4S.
batteries. What's wrong with you? Really? Wow. Mm-hmm. You and Bubby, the two 4S holdouts in the world.
I fly 4S on 6S motors. Fight me.
If your goggles natively take 6S, of course, you can just use 6S batteries, but maybe you'd feel better giving your goggles a little bit lower voltage and stressing the regulator less. If you have goggles like the Fat Shark HDOs or the Shark Bite system that only take 2S voltage, though, this could be a handy thing. Anyway, we've already got a bunch of ideas about how to make it better, and we're thinking about what'll be in the next version. But for now, $15 for this. That's what you got. First category: flight controllers and ESCs. Now, you brought one. We're going to start off with the one you brought. And then I've been looking for some cheap flight controllers and ESCs that you can get without spending $150 gosh dang dollars. And that's going to be after you show us what you brought. What have you brought, Blunty?
All right. Well, this one's not cheap. This is the opposite of cheap. This is a $259 ESC from T-Motor. And it is an 8-in-1 ESC.
An 8-in-1.
But yeah.
What is an 8-in-1 for?
Well, presumably Cinelifters, but I'm not really sure who this is for.
Okay, so I see. So it's for Cinelifter Octos. right?
Yes.
A lot of people will take two 4-in-1 ESCs and stack them, and the wiring is a little bit fiddly and ugly, and so now they're just like, screw it, let's do an 8-in-1.
Yeah.
What are the ratings? What's the voltage rating? What's the amp rating?
8S, so it can do 8S, 55 amp. So
okay.
Yeah. My confusion here is, why is this more expensive than two separate ESCs? Like, and also, why would I want to buy this ever? Like,
right.
In any world. I'm not trying to slam a Cinelifter. Like, I'm going to put two ESCs in a Cinelifter, and I'm going to build it so that if I lose one motor, I'm not going to spend two ESCs worth of money to replace. There's just no point.
So the 200,
I've got a board that's sinking that much power. I've got one shunt resistor that's handling it all. Like, there's so many pieces of this that I don't like. One cap dies, and like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's the weakness of this. I agree. Yeah. The price, like maybe you pay extra for the fact that it's all integrated in one board. So if the $259 price is not for you, you're like, okay, I'm going to save money by buying something else. Let's say you decide the $259 price is a good price. And let's say you think that it can handle the PCB can handle the current flow of 8 motors, right? Your point is the big one. You blow one FET, the whole ESC is dead. Whereas if you have individual ESCs, if you blow an ESC, you just replace the one. And when you got a 4-in-1 ESC for a 5-inch quadcopter and you blow it and it costs you $70 to buy a new one, that hurts, but maybe it's worth it. But these are expensive effing ESCs. They're $50, $80 a piece, and to blow $259 for one FET doesn't feel right.
If this provided any other benefits, like performance benefits or like security, like safety benefits on the build or something, but I'm not aware of any like problem with stacking two ESCs. And to me, like, the person who's building a Cinelifter doesn't care about how, it's a little bit easier because the ESC is flatter and wider.
Cinelifters are a pain in the ass to build, no matter what you do.
I'm just going to build it like I was building it before and save the $70 plus the $250 when I have to replace the single 8-in-1. That's where my head's at with it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We've never seen it before. I mean, that's one of the reasons I've got it here, because I've never seen anybody try this before. So we have seen, I think Neutron RC has the 8-in-1, but it's 8-in-1 in a single like board. It's like looks more normal size, and they just put them on the corners. So I don't know that I trust that one for the amperage either, but it's interesting,
Is this BL 32?
Does not say. So
presumably it's BL 32. Blunty, I swear I saw an 8-in-1 Acon ESC that was exactly like this, and I can't find it.
Oh, I don't remember that one. I know there's a Neutron RC that's shaped differently, but I'm not sure the Acon.
I swear I saw Ryan Harold talking about Acon design, because people were saying there's no way the PCB can handle the current flow of these motors, and he was saying, I trust Acon. Acon always gets this right. I swear Acon just announced an 8-in-1. It must just be on Facebook. It must not be out yet. It does. I've heard rumors in the past that Acon makes T-motor ESCs and flight controllers. And
that was Acon posting about this 8-in-1. So it's the same 8-in-1.
Oh, okay. So this is clearly made by Acon.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Well, if anybody can make a reliable ESC, it's Acon. And you could argue, Blunty, that Cinelifters don't get bashed around like acro quads do, and so you're less likely to just randomly fry an ESC from turtle moding into a tree. Maybe this is reliable and worth spending money on. Anyway.
Maybe.
Cool $250 8-in-1 ESC.
If you would buy this, or you're going to buy this, let us know in the comments. I would be interested to find out.
Yeah, that's not just engagement bait. If you see this, you're like, no, you guys are completely missing the point. This is a lifesaver. Tell us in the comments why, because we do pay attention to those. Alrighty, I have got, Blunty, flight controllers and ESCs are so expensive now. Do you remember the days when for $50 you could get like a diatone stack, and it was, it wasn't the best, but gosh, it was $50, an ESC and a flight controller together. Yeah. Those days are long gone. Seems like flight controllers and ESCs are going for $90, $100, $120, $130 a stack now, maybe more. Yeah. But we got something, two of them today, that are going to take you back to the old times.
Yeah, we've got Yeah, two F4 stacks. We got F405 SpeedyBee V3 stack. That's coming in the F4. So we've seen the F7. I think we covered that last week or last month rather. And now we got the F4 for a lot cheaper of the price there, the F405. We've also got the T-Motor VELOX, the F411. Yeah, coming at $75, $76.99. So both these are pretty reasonable for the stacks. Not bad at all.
Yeah, there are some drawbacks to the F4 processor. You're going to have a little bit more complication with the UARTs. If you're doing FreeSky and S-Bus, you're going to need to use the S-Bus pad because the F4 can't handle inverted protocols as seamlessly as an F7. And they're going to run a little bit slower, so you might not be able to run Betaflight at 8K or whatever, although depending on the gyro, they may not run at 8K anyway. You might run at 2K or 4K, but they will get the job done. And they are $75 and $70, which in this day and age is a freaking bargain. Just cross your fingers that like the ESC holds up. That's the big test, I think, of these things.
Also, just to note, some people are worried about buying an F411 in these modern times, an F722. Betaflight did make an announcement back in August that they are working as hard as they can, and they're planning to continue support for F722 and F411 for the foreseeable future by whatever means possible. So I wouldn't worry too much about that side of things if you are. So.
Yeah. Of these two, I feel like the SpeedyBee looks a little more sort of well-made, just the quality of, I don't know. The SpeedyBee to me feels a little more premium.
The F405 is a better processor too, so I would probably go with the SpeedyBee. And
it's $5 cheaper.
Yeah.
But we've got links to these down below, and snap them up while they're available because it's a freaking bargain. I don't know I guess the F4 chip saved them a little money, but that doesn't make all the difference. So
let's go to VTX's and check out the Foxeer 2.5 watt. All the watts. This is almost all.
I like big watts, and I cannot lie.
Yeah, well, they are definitely big watts here. For only $60, you've got a 2,500 milliwatt, 2.5 watt Foxeer Reaper Extreme. So pretty cool.
Yeah. Foxeer has really built a good reputation with their Reaper line of, I first knew the Reaper ESC. Racers were using the Reaper ESC. It was a 20 millimeter, it still is, but it was a 20 millimeter ESC. And if racers can beat the hell out of a 20 millimeter ESC all season and not have it blow up, it must be good. Now they've got the Reaper video transmitter. We've seen high-powered video transmitters before, like the AKK 3 watt. In general, the build quality, and they get the job done. Nobody would say AKK is like top-notch build quality. So is that what we've got here? A high-powered, top-notch video transmitter.
It seems to be the case. Also, I'll just say, that AKK has a giant fan on it. So, I think Foxeer has either got a better design here, or they found a way to, you could see the design of the metal heatsink on top and stuff. It seems like they've got a good way to sink the heat away, and hopefully, all that stuff leads to good success. With a good video transmitter. But I would trust typically Foxeer to do this pretty well. So,
yeah, I've actually got one of these. I'm going to be testing it on the bench. So more about that later. But I've heard good things so far. We could compare it to things like the TBS Unify HV, which is rated for 1 watt plus, commonly reported at 1.5, 1.6 watts, or the Rush Tank Solo, which is similar in output power. This one has an edge on them. The difference between, 1.5 watts and 2.5 watts, you're going to get a little bit more range, assuming that output power is clean and assuming it delivers. So $60 is pretty premium, but that's one of the fun things about analog is with DJI, you just get what they give you. 1200 milliwatts, that's all you got. But with analog, if the manufacturers can figure out how to crank the output power, you can just get as much range as you can possibly get. So I've got another video transmitter in here, and it is high-powered, although not quite as high-powered, but the cool thing about it is that it's got a built-in Immersion RC Ghost receiver. This is the Ghost Ultimate Hybrid. Are you familiar with the Ghost Hybrid, Blunty?
I know of it. Yeah, it's basically their version of like a VTX and receiver in one, right?
Correct. It's got a Ghost receiver and a Tramp VTX in one. They are integrated, so you can manage the Tramp VTX using your Ghost module. It's got a really cool feature where like the VTX doesn't turn on until the Ghost receiver links up. So you can plug your quad in at the race, and if your controller's off, your quad won't power up. It like literally doesn't power up at all, not even a blip. And it's really easy to change channels. So like you could turn your controller on, and you could go into your controller, into the module menu, and change the channel for your VTX. So that then as soon as you plug in, it just comes up on the right channel without any... It's really nice. Racers really like it. But it was only, I think it was 600 milliwatts. Ugh. So this one is 1,500 milliwatts, 1.5 watts. Kind of cool. A little bigger for freestylers. Basically the size of a VTX, and you get a receiver for free, I guess is how to think about it.
Yeah, $70, so not bad.
Not bad.
But not super cheap either. So it depends on like where you're landing and what you're looking for, right? Because the Ghost receivers are going to cost you $30, right? So
yeah. If you're not in the Ghost ecosystem, then this probably isn't going to be what sways you to the Ghost ecosystem. But if you already are flying Ghost, maybe because you're a racer and you like that link, but you've wanted a higher powered video transmitter, then here it is. Cool. Any new frames come out this month?
Yeah, definitely heard plenty about the Vannystyle, the new Vanover frame that's out. Yeah, he's been testing this for a while, and he's finally got his new frame. He's toilet tanked, which is interesting.
Toilet tank battery mount, sideways battery mounting, interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely saving a little bit of weight here with these braces. A lot of people would have a full plate, but he's cut it out to a V. It's probably as durable as it needs to be. I'm going to guess that he's tested the crap out of that. I think the innovative thing about this is the arm mounting. I mean, that's one of the few areas for creativity in frame design these days. What's going on with these pictures? They've got this key plate in here, and it's a little hard to demonstrate with just the photos, but what this does is if you take this bottom plate off, for some reason, like you're changing an arm or doing some maintenance, this little key here keeps your arms from just going and falling all over the place. So you can take this bottom plate off and not lose all your arms. That's pretty clever. I have to run it by Chris Rosser to see how the resonance characteristics are. We don't know. 30 millimeter mounting. Does it have 20 millimeter mounting? 30 by 30, 20 by 20, and 25 by 25. I only see these holes here going through this bottom plate. Are the 20 by 20 and the 25 by 25 not accessible through the bottom plate?
I think it's back, right? So there's one on the back.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's a set on the back, and there's a set in the middle for the, VTX versus the FC. Yeah.
I see. Interesting. Comes in at $80, so a little bit of a premium price, but looks like a good frame. Next up, we've got another frame from NordFPV.com. And actually, Blunty, NordFPV sent me one of these and asked if I would give it away on the stream. So in addition to our normal giveaway, which we will talk about at the end of the stream, we're going to be giving away one of these Nord 5 frames. More instructions on how to enter at the end of the stream. It takes a lot to get me to care about a new frame because frames often don't do a lot of innovative stuff, but they have some cool little design decisions here, Blunty. Like the VTX wires go down through the plate instead of going across the flight controller and maybe messing with your gyro. And then on the underside, they've got this 3D printed cover that protects them. And you see they run through here, back to the front of the frame. That's pretty slick. Not for everybody, but
interesting.
Oh, I would use that. Are you like, meh, not for me?
I don't see the benefit for how I build. Like, I don't know that I've ever run into any issues through that, but I see like it's a cool innovation. I don't know that it seems like that much extra work if you're already building. It's an extra 4 screws and you got to pull a wire through, so it seems pretty easy to do. Yeah,
the downside is going to be like maintenance wise. You're going to need to open this up to get at the wires if you need to do any repairs. But on the other hand, with the wires like protected, maybe you'll never need to do any repairs.
It also seems like they're routed. It's not for sure, but it seems like they're routed between the plates so that you could still work on everything without having to remove the VTX. You know, so the
Correct.
wires are still hanging out there, but yeah, you can remove arms and stuff. So that is good.
Yeah, it's a very clever design, and is genuinely novel. I haven't seen anything like this, and so that's why I wanted to feature this frame. When people do something genuinely novel, I think they should get credit for it. And this is certainly, it's a very nice frame, got a lot of 3D printed pieces, very polished, and we're going to be giving one away at the end of the stream. So, NordFPV.
We got some whoop motors this month.
Ooh.
We've got WebleedFPV, has their 0702 special edition motors up for pre-order, I believe. They basically order them now and they'll ship in October for Halloween season, basically. But yes, basically as soon as they can get them to you. But they've got a 24-500, a 26-500, and a 28-500 edition of the 0702, which I know a lot of people were excited about the tiny whoop ones that were pretty high kV. So here's like another option for you.
Yeah, and I reached out to Aaron Ciotti before we started recording because Ciotti flies a ton of micros. I know you do too, Plenty, but I wanted to get his opinion because I don't fly a ton of tiny whoops. And Ciotti's opinion is that quote, the tiny whoop 0702 30,000 kVs are absolutely brilliant on the GemFan bi-blades, but they're sold out. These 28,500 kVs should be almost as good. So if you fly tiny whoops, if you haven't tried an ultra high kV motor, or if you're a big fan of the 30,000 kV tiny whoop motors but can't get them, this could be a good alternative. But do make sure you pair them with the correct prop. You try and run these on a big heavy tri-blade prop and you're not going to have a good time. Also, I would think you need a pretty good battery, right, Plenty?
Yes, although they are 0702, so it's not going to be as hardcore. But yeah, definitely. Good battery is always good. WeBleed sells their cells as well as a couple other places have these like solid cells that we've talked about before, and they're going to be a lot better for you than the standard like pillow lipos we're traditionally using. So I would definitely be using a better quality cell for something like that, just so you can get that good punch out of them that you're looking for, you know?
Yeah.
Also, I'll just say, I really like flying 0702s and 0702.5s and stuff. Like, I love that size of motor versus the traditional size, the 08s. Yeah, it's just fun to fly. It feels like it has a little more agility, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know
they're lighter.
If it's because
the 07s are going to be lighter by a little bit than the 08s.
I think it's the weight of the quad, and also I don't know how much effect it has, but maybe it's just the weight of the bell on that small of a thing, like that you get that difference in weight, and it can push it around faster and stop it easier. But yeah, it just feels a little more responsive, which it's probably both the weight and the motor. So
I'm kind of shocked I remember when the 19,000 kV and the 25,000 kV Mobula 6 came out. And people were like, whoa, that's unreasonably high kV. Oh, no one could possibly fly on motors with that high of a kV. And now people are running 30,000 and going, oh my God, it's amazing. How are we not just like destroying batteries and burning up motors and getting terrible efficiency?
Yeah, well, I think we've got better batteries now, like we talked about, but also just like, and better props now for sure than we used to have. I don't know. I think, we just have better electronics overall, and people are more skilled at whoop piloting. You know, something we've seen is just, like we've talked about before, is there's some milestones that are hard to break through, but at some point, like, people do. And like, we're just slowly seeing whoop times get faster and people get better at the sticks. And I think all that is driving into people wanting higher performance gear. So
yeah. And it's worth pointing out that even if you're a beginner and you feel like these might be too powerful for you, you can always get the high kV motors, use a throttle scale to scale down the throttle to give you more control, but the flight controller and the PID controller still have access to the full output power to give you sharper handling. And so there are benefits to having more powerful motors, even if you don't personally need that much power. I was going to say, Blenty, before we go, here's the example of that battery that you mentioned. This is the WebleedFPV 300 milliamp hour PH 2.0 or BT 2.0 connector, depending on what you've got on your drone. And if you're going to pick up a set of these motors, grab one of these batteries or more if you haven't tried them. This cell, it's sold by WeBleed, it's sold by Newbeedrone and T-Motor. It is the best. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's like it's really mind-blowing, like how much different they are than a traditional pillow cell. Like there are some batteries that you buy that are like, oh, this is a little better. Like when we talk about like a 4S or a 6S, you know, you're going to get some improvement from buying a better quality battery or certain ones, right, or higher C rating. This is sort of like a totally different, it's like you put a different thing on the quad. I used to bring these to races a lot. And I still do sometimes, but like, and just give them to people to try for a heat, and they'll come back and they'll be like, "What happened? What is going? What is this? Is crazy."
Didn't know how bad your whoop batteries were before.
100%.
Until you try one of these.
Everybody lives with the sag. You know, like you land these at 3.3. You land these at like 3.4, 3.3, 3.2 because that's the life of the battery is above that, and that's where you want, because you get like less sag, and it's just they're great. Yeah. Whoever you buy them from, not promoting for any specific person really, but they're just really good, and they're an excellent soul to have, and you should pick them up if you haven't tried them.
Okay, all right, but then you're going to be sad because they're like $7 a piece.
Yeah,
and you're not going to want to fly anything else.
Yes, but they are also amazing. So yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going to take a look at a product from my friends over at Rotor Riot. And I do say friends because this is not sponsored or anything, just want to say. But Rotor Riot has a customized version of the TX16S Mark II Max. This will come with a 4-in-1 module, presumably. Not the Express LRS module. Am I right about that? Yeah, multi-protocol. And the big selling point is that it has gimbals with the Rotor Riot logo. Can you see the gimbals in any of these? There you go. The gimbals have the Rotor Riot logo sort of etched on them, and that's kind of cute. And it comes with a little background screen with the Rotor Riot logo on it. It's basic, as you said before, Blunty. It's basically just another TX16S Max.
Yeah, little changes. The gimbals are kind of neat because I don't think we've seen any of the other gimbal sets have actually a design on them, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you know, it's in $300. AG01 gimbals, TX16S 4-in-1 module. If the TX16S Max is probably the most popular radio used in FPV today, and if you've decided to get one and you like Rotor Riot, this is the one for you. By the way, you can also pick up the gimbals by themselves. If you want the AG01 gimbals with the Rotor Riot logo, they're also available. Next up, we're just about to get to the giveaway. Feels like we've only been going for like a half hour. I told you we shortened it up this month. We're trying to focus on the highlights. But before we get to the giveaway, we have a few just random accessories to show you that we still thought were interesting enough to point out. What am I looking at here, Blunty?
So our friends at Thumb Grippies have created another little tool here called a wheel delete for the Radiomaster Zorro, and you might have a Radiomaster Zorro, and you might run into an issue with it that this solves, where this covers the wheels for you.
Yeah, on the Radiomaster Zorro, I love the ergonomics of that radio. Of the gamepad style radios, it has the most comfortable ergonomics for my hand. But your fingers rest between those two switches right where these little roller wheels are. And it's kind of annoying to like have them be shifting around while you're holding it. And if you're not using those roller wheels anyway, these cover it up and just give you a place to rest your finger. I would 100% use these. I don't use those roller wheels for anything. So
yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. We have also got, going back to the folks over at WebleedFPV, we got a new, some new whoop gates and a new LED cube.
Yeah, we've got the LED tube cube, and we've got the Weebly micro drone racing gates, which I think have been recently updated a little bit. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
What's the tube cube? It's just it's LED tubes, color changing, programmable, and you can fly your tiny whip through it, or just hang it in your living room and feel like you're at a rave.
You got it. Exactly. Pretty much. You're on the right page there. There's two different ones. So you got a 19-inch or a 27-inch, either one of them. So, and yeah. I'll say, we'll mention this with the gates too, but these are going to be a little more expensive than comparative stuff. Like when you look at other people's stuff. However, this is, we've talked about Weebly before. This is Jeff Grabowski, but, buy what you want I will say he spends the time to source locations and people and test products and find like somebody who's going to make him a quality thing. So like when you get these, they're going to be good. And if they're not good, he'll support them for you and make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. So yeah, just keep that in mind that like if you are paying a premium with his stuff, it's typically because he's sourcing it from somewhere and doing like making sure it's a good product for you. So.
Yeah, WebleedFPV has, I think, established themselves as a really, really solid vendor. Certainly in the whoop market, that seems to be their focus. Their products are high quality products based in Syracuse, New York. If you're interested in supporting a local company, if you are in fact local to the United States, if you're outside of the United States, the shipping on all these things is probably going to kill you, and you're probably not going to buy them. Just sorry, that's the reality.
I was going to say, I think he does do international shipping, and he kind of does some deals with you if you need to. I'm not sure if anything's listed when you buy, though. Yeah, but I know he's definitely done specific orders for people, and I think he shipped a couple packs of gates out to people in different countries to make sure people can get what they need. So, yeah.
Well, that's what you get with a little, kind of a one-man shop instead of a great big corporation. All right, well, 100%. So, yeah, here we go. Shipping within the USA, international shipping. Yeah, okay. So, very nice whoop gates in various sizes and shapes, and a cube, LED cube. And we have another LED. This one's from FlyHigh LEDs, LED strips. What's special about them?
So he actually worked to get these made. He worked to get these produced because he was having trouble finding ones that worked for this exact case. And so these are 6S LEDs. So the big problem with LEDs, right, is you got to run them off.
You got a freaking voltage regulator.
Whatever voltage regulator, right? So he was able to source and locate 4mm LED strips. You just cut them, where you need to cut them every 5 centimeters, and you get 6S voltage. So they light up at 15 volt. They get extremely bright at 20 volt and can go all the way up to full 6S voltage.
And here we've got one for 12 volts for if you're running 3S or 4S. I didn't realize how important this is, because LEDs,
very cool.
You usually pay more than it feels like you ought to for a little PCB with some little LEDs on it, and then you got to get a gosh darn voltage regulator because they pull too much current from what you can. And I've always thought, why can't I just run them off of VBAT? But you never can.
Yep.
And now we've got these strips. They're flexible. Yeah. They're flexible physically and in terms of how you can mount them. Just cut them to length, solder them up, bing, bang, bong, good to go.
And a meter is $8. So super hard to beat the price.
Now they're not programmable, are they? They're fixed color.
Are just through, basically just through Betaflight and stuff. I think you still can program them, right?
I don't know. The color here, it seems like if you're making me order them by picking a color, then they're only a single color LED.
So there's a separate. So he does have a separate SKU. He did build. RGB
here's the
LED
RGB.
strips.
Here's the RGB. I see.
Yeah, he built strip versions of them if you need them. So
I see. So here's the programmable version: 1 strip plus 1 chip. Okay, but still the same deal. 6S rated.
Yeah, it's an adjustable chip for Betaflight to control the color, and they come in half-meter segments. So a little more expensive, but you get the chip to control, and you get RGB for full control. So
all right. Well, I think this is really, really exciting and going to keep people's builds a little simpler and maybe a little more robust. Very, very cool. Thank you, FlyHigh FPV. While we're at FlyHigh FPV website, I would also like to point out that they sell the Joshua Bardwell "You're Gonna Burn Something Today" shirt. I would like to say I did not. I officially endorse this shirt. I don't normally lean into the stoner side of FPV. So if anybody out there is shocked that I would do such a thing, I didn't. But since he did it, I absolutely approve of it, and I think it's hilarious. And if you want to pick one up, you can. I don't get anything for this. It's just funny. Okay. Next up, we've got a product that a few people in the world have been desperately trying to buy and unable to buy it. And it is the replacement HDMI cable for the HDZero module. Everything else that you buy doesn't have these special right angle connectors on it and is super cumbersome and ugly. But if yours has broken through use and you need a replacement, here it is. You have HDZero Blunty. Do you have this cable?
I don't know. Mine came with the cable. I got
it's still working for you. It's all good.
My cable. Yeah, my cable's still good to go. So
yeah. If you lose it, I've been hoarding mine. I've been very careful not to break it or damage it or lose it because I'm like, I don't want to have a big dangly 1 meter cable hanging off my goggles. And now finally, you don't have to. So we have to.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah,
there's a separate thing I want to say.
Yeah,
this is really, really funny to me. When you pulled it up, it said 2 hours 53 minutes left for same day shipping.
Yeah.
Mine says 4 hours 53 minutes, so it's using local time. So how does that work?
Because it should be Orlando time or wherever get it.
Right.
Sarasota time.
Yeah, so I can order for the next 4.5 hours and get same day, but you can only order for the next 2.5 hours and get same day.
That's not how it works. That's not how anything works.
That's not how anything works.
It's like at some point the truck will come and get the packages and they will leave.
Yes.
GetFPV.
So how many time zones do I go over so I can order at midnight?
What if you change your computer's time? Is it based not on your actual geolocation, but your computer time? Are they just calculating?
I don't know.
Oh my God, GetFPV. The same day shipping is a lie. What have we done?
Nope. You can change your local time. It changes. 7 hours 51 minutes now.
It's just based on your clock.
It's just based on your clock. Yes.
7 hours is like 8 p.m. my time. That can't be true.
Yep.
GetFPV, you got some splaining to do.
All right.
But anyway, getting back on topic, we have to pick a product to give away this month. And what is the most exciting thing we could give away? I have a product in mind, but I want to hear your input.
The obvious one's the GoPro, but you're going to give one or two away. And that's
right. I mean, I feel like I usually give away about $400 to $600 worth of stuff. $800 for 2 GoPros would be a little bit of a stretch. I don't even have a GoPro 11 yet. And I usually like to make more people happy by giving away something a little cheaper. Here's what we're gonna, I got it. I know what to do. We're going to give away 2 Hero 11 Black Minis.
Okay.
Only $300.
Yeah, so you'll get them. Yeah, they'll ship in a month or 2.
You'll get them in a month, or maybe I'll just send you $300 and you can do whatever you want to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give away 2 Hero 11 Black Minis to 2 separate winners, one to 2 winners. There are instructions in the video description for how you can enter the giveaway. It's a Google form that you have to click on and go fill out. Go down to the video description, click on the form, put your info in there. Also, I will announce the winners via email. You will get an email from me, joshuabardwell@gmail.com, telling you the winner. There's a lot of scams out there these days. I want you to know you're not being scammed. I will post a pinned comment at the top of this video, and I'll make a community post. But that is going to do it. Oh, also, we'll be giving away the NordFPV frame. And I feel bad giving away a frame and not supporting Alex Vanover. So we're also going to give away 1 Vannystyle frame to 1 winner.
All right.
Ooh,
Giveaway City. This month is crazy.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Thank you so much, Blunty. Thank you guys for coming back every month to support the channel and to find out about new products in FPV. That is going to do it. Happy flying, everybody.
Thanks, guys.